lot of risk with the AIs. The founder of OpenAI said कि ChatGPT chat is not secure.
You have an incredible amount of power. Why should we trust you?
You should.
Where is this AI getting its data from? How is it trained? OpenAI, Azure OpenAI, Gemini, Perplexity, all of these are just third parties to either us or the companies.
For my customer data, which is PII, I have put it on the ChatGPT, let's say, and now it's been leaked. What all can happen to me?
There would be definitely loss of reputation. People would not trust you anymore.
What will be the new startup or a young entrepreneur should look out for?
First of all, the founders should focus on what they do best. That is building the product, promoting the business.
As a founder or as a consultant, what expectations you have from me?
Who is your target audience? What data are you collecting? Who has access to that data? What systems are you using?
So what are the more significant controls you think a startup should have?
With good intentions, people make mistakes. So the background verification and good hiring is very important.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the GB Show. Today, I have a special topic for you and for startups. We have seen often startups looking forward to building products, acquiring customers, and scaling fast. But most of them missed a critical functionality or the requirement. It's risk, compliance, and governance. If we are not following the compliances, it's very hard to build trust with investors, customers, or partners. Or even if you are not risk aware, you may have risk of reputational loss and fines which are coming from the different regulatory bodies. So to deep dive on this particular topic, I have with me today Seema Pathak. She is Head and VP Data Privacy, Risk and Compliance with inFeedo. Let's deep dive more into this discussion.
Hi Seema, welcome to the GB Show.
Hi, Gaurav. Thanks for having me.
Okay, and as I've just introduced you and the vast experience you have in regulation, compliance, and the privacy part of thing, and also you are representing a AI-based startup. So today, for my audience specifically, the topic or the conversation or the idea which I want to give them is how much important it is to have regulation, follow compliance for a startup. Okay, so let's start from the basic. Okay, let's understand what GRC is all about and why any organization, though it's a startup or a enterprise level organization, they need GRC. Let's start with the basic definition first.
Sure. Interesting question, and something that I've been doing for 4-5 years. So I would say that not only startups, every company requires GRC if they're collecting data. That is gold nowadays. GRC basically stands for governance, risk, and compliance. And every company, every SaaS company, every startup that has now started to give services to end users, be it B2B or B2B, B2C, they require to follow regulations in order to get bigger customers who are ISO compliant, customers who are GDPR compliant, or customers who are regulated entities. It is extremely important to focus on compliance to get business, and that is one thing that startups really have differing views on. Founders have different views. They would always look for revenue first and then say that, okay, let revenue come and then we would set up the compliance. But I would say that compliance should be intuitive and not based on what your customer wants you to do or the regulations wants you to do, because you are serving your clients, your end users, your business customers. You have to have their best interest in mind. So anything that you do not take seriously and that can harm them, you should take it seriously, and that is GRC for you.
Amazingly, and the point which you have mentioned, like the founders generally think into as regulation as a later part and revenue as first. I was having a debate with one of the gentlemen from one big firm, and one day he told me like, business first and regulation second. And but now we have seen like how RBI has given it to some of the fintechs, and they have clearly mandated regulations first, business second, right? So without regulation you can't even do the business. So now RBI is one in that. So we have seen now SEBI has come up with CSRF. So as per you, for there are many different startups, health, pharma, tech. What are the different compliance you will like us to suggest they should or the startup should follow as per their niche? So some of the names you want like to set.
Definitely. So, in case you are catering to these regulated entities, which are regulated by SEBI or RBI or even TRAI, you have to keep in mind about what their obligations are towards the government of India and the ministry. And so, first of all, it starts with how you manage your information security. So, I would like to suggest ISO 27001 specific to companies who collect data and process data. They should also go for, depending upon the kind of service they are providing. If they are somebody who is into payroll, they should definitely go for SOC 1 audits. And people, companies like ours, inFeedo, we collect data, and it is not only processing, but it is an output which is very useful to our admins, our customer admins, which are HRBPs. In this case, with startups or SaaS companies should go for SOC 2 Type 2. They should start slowly with ISO, move on to SOC 2 Type 1, and then move on to SOC 2 Type 2. It has 5 trust criteria, which also covers privacy.
Okay.
If they are able to go for all, then basic privacy compliance would be in place, which would help them into getting DPDP compliant. And if their customers and users are in regions like EU or UK, then also GDPR.
Okay. So
These three are the basics that I would like to.
So is there a framework, or as a startup, like, I'm a founder and I came out of a college, or maybe I was working and want to look into this. So should I be first studying compliances? Because for me, there is an idea which I have. Now I'm building upon it, and my app is ready. I want to launch it. Now before launching, should I be first studying, putting my project on hold for 6 months, and then I say no, I'm ready now, I'm compliant, I should go first? What will be the new startup or a young entrepreneur should look out for?
So, first of all, the founders should focus on what they do best. That is building the product, promoting the business. They should definitely get an expert from compliance, because the nuances of how every data is being, managed, every kind of information is being managed, or the end result that we are giving, analytics or anything that we are giving to the customer, how is that managed at every stage, is a very vast thing. It comes with a lot of studying and experience and researches. Plus, you have to be updated at every point. Like every 6 months, there is a new regulation or there is a new legislative change. It is better to focus their energies on product, get some budget for hiring an expert or a consultant. Even one person who knows exactly how startup model works or SaaS model works, they can help them create the basic framework. The basic framework starts with documentation of what kind of business you're doing, what data you are collecting, and how do you want to manage it. The second stage would come into analyzing what kind of target audience do you have for this product. If you are going for regulated companies, bigger corporations or companies which are already ISO certified, they would not even consider you if you're not compliant. So if you want to cater to smaller companies or individuals where India does not still have any law passed for privacy, it still has ISO. And that is, again, whether you get certified or not, if you have controls like basic encryption, access control, not everyone should have access to all the business data. Even if these basic things are put in place, it shows intent of data security, and also how you want to treat your customer business, whether there is continuity or not. Do you have enough bandwidth to manage them in case of any unfortunate event? So all of that needs to be managed. One person is all it needs to start, then grow the business instead of getting into the certification. Like I have seen people get ISO certificates from all over the world. They can buy maybe, or they will be like, just give us the policies, but the policies are not implemented. What will happen? The customer will come and say that, okay, we'll do a vendor risk analysis and you will fail. So, young founders should focus on product. They should listen to the compliance person, try to incorporate as much as possible in good faith for the customer.
Fair enough. And with your conversation, whatever you're talking about, I think the idea of having regulation as a service for startup, I think that will work. Maybe we can collaborate someday on that.
There are definitely compliance and other automation tools, and they also bring in regulations.
Yeah.
So they have an entire framework that you have to, you can go on the tool and you can upload evidence and show that yes, I'm compliant to this particular compliance requirement. That is a very, very necessary tool right now.
Exactly, and someone is talking about RegTech as well. A lot of things are getting covered on that. But anyways, just to make it simple for me, as we were talking about young entrepreneurs, I know I'm not that young, but let me or assume that I'm a young entrepreneur, and now we are having CXO Junction, we have CyberFrat where we're doing load of education. And we are in EdTech, okay. So I have made my product. We have made LMS where education and things are coming in, and I ask you to please visit me and tell me my product is ready. How should I go for compliances? So as a founder or as a consultant, what expectations you have from me? What should I be ready with? And what all question you are going to ask me on the very first place?
See, the first requirement is getting the visibility. If I'm a consultant to a startup, I would first start asking the basic questions like, who is your target audience? What data are you collecting? Who has access to that data? What systems are you using? Basic things like, where are you working from? If you're working from an office, is it a secure environment where do you have at least a Wi-Fi with a password? People can work from anywhere. It is the new thing. People can work from anywhere. But if you're working from anywhere, secure your laptop, secure your environment, and that includes everything. So I would suggest to start from the basic, have the documentation of everything. Once it is there in black and white, you cannot argue that this should not happen. It needs to be mapped to ISO requirement. There are like 144 controls, which overwhelms people, thinking that how would I do this? But it is like another BAU thing for compliance experts. Business would get really worried and scared, but compliance experts can read that, make sense to that, but a person needs to be very agile to understand that founders have a different focus altogether. If you don't make it easy for them, they would rather take the other route where you are, just going ahead with it and compromising things on the ground. So yeah, basic documentation, data flows, what data is coming in, what data is going out, and in the middle of it, what all is happening. And the second thing I would like the founders to note is, what does your customer need to comply with?
Okay.
And you need to comply with that. Simple. That should be the basis of it. It is also business, until unless they are assured that they don't get penalties or they don't get hacked, they would not give you business. If you assure them that you have all the controls, you will get business.
Okay. I think you have rightly said. So even I was working with one of the bank, and before that, we never thought that we need to go for ISO, and they said no. If you want us to be onboarding you, then you need to go for ISO. Then you need to go for SOC 2. And my product was ready, but it took us like 3 months to get the certifications in place, and now of course we are onboarded over there. That was quite a challenging, but because I had that background of cybersecurity and know the things, and was ready to. It's not gonna be easy for a entrepreneur who just came with an idea and start working on that. So that is one of the challenge which we are facing. But from your industry experience, when you actually talk to these founders or anyone from the organization perspective, what are the weird things you have heard about risk compliance where people are saying, or how difficult it was to make someone understand that how important it is, the job which you are doing?
Yes, it's a challenge on a daily basis. I'm just fortunate that my company's founders are really pro compliance. They proactively hired me, and then we hired the team to do this. But most of the founders, at least till 1 or 2 years ago, they never thought that people would check what they are doing. If they're filling up a questionnaire saying that yes, we have encryption, so they would be like, just let's just get the questionnaire answers from someone, and they used to just work with whatever is available, whether it is implemented or not. So the weirdest thing I have heard is like we have SOC 2 compliance. The founder said that we have SOC 2 compliance, and they did not even in their report. I did not even see the trust criteria.
Okay.
It was just a random report. Because when you get the report, you see a CPA has signed it, somebody has signed it. You don't really check their credentials or what they have done. So the weirdest thing was they were like, "But I have the report." I am saying, but you don't have the controls. And the report does not give me anything that I'm looking for. So one has to know exactly that only an ISO certificate or a SOC 2 report will not make their business better. You have to actually do the work also.
Okay.
It's not just a checkbox item.
So you have touched upon something called as controls. So let's go in that. So what are the more significant controls you think a startup should have? Let's say SaaS founder, like for me, like your organization or anyone who is watching it, that what are the bare minimum controls you think should be in place?
See, one should definitely work inside out. First of all, you should have a team of employees whose background is verified.
Okay.
Because most of the times, the issue is the insider threat. People either don't understand, or people either don't have good intentions, or even with with good intentions, people make mistakes. So the background verification and good hiring is very important. So first of all, you have to check whether what their credentials are, even if they don't have those four-letter qualifications like CISA or anything. Do they have enough experience in a field to understand the importance of how, if any event happens at a startup, it will cause bankruptcy. It is not simple. They are working on a very low budget, and all they want to do is good work. So you can't just take it for granted and make a mistake. So hire your people well. That's the first control. And at least train one person to understand what information security is. Whether these people have done ISO LA auditor course, or whether they learn it from Google, they should have the knowledge. Get it verified from peer, because startups have a very good they have a very good networking. So you can reach out to YC, and you can reach out to other startup founders, and they always share best practices. We have also done so. So see how others are doing it with less resources. So have a good network, hire good people, train one person on this to deal with everything that comes from customer side
Okay.
or auditor side, and then have access controls. What happens at startup, and it is the ground level challenge, is there are less people. Everybody does everything, so everyone needs access to everything. When you are 1 year in the startup journey, by then you should have access control in your company,
Okay.
and something that can be validated, a screenshot where you can show that there is access control. It need not be a tool. It need be simple like Google Drive documents accessible to certain people only. Or when you are sharing something confidential, you share that with expiration dates. Do not just randomly share confidential information. And once that is in place, what parallelly runs is data classification. Understand what kind of data are you dealing with, and what level of control do you need. If you're dealing with simple data, not even PII, like personally identifiable information, then you may not even need that many controls. Just to prove that you are ISO compliant,
Yeah.
don't do that. Don't run after that. Understand what you have, what power do you hold, and if there is the risk is minimal, do not pay attention to that. Focus on areas which have high risk, like if you have PII, if you have paper, hard copies of the data. How is all of that managed? Once this I like to say this to all whenever I take a session on training, that data is like gold in your tijori at home.
Yeah.
So your safe is always locked. You do not leave your jewelry outside ever, right? You would not keep it in the bedroom. So keep the data where it belongs. It can be a central repository or anything, not thrown away everywhere. You're sharing it on Slack, you're also sharing it on Google Drive, email, WhatsApp. No, control that. And there would be an urge, because you have to support the pace of the business. ease of the business, pace of the business. You will just send a proposal with maybe your security architecture diagram or something to one of the prospects without ensuring that you are sending it to the right person. If you send it on WhatsApp, what are you doing? Maybe you don't understand that your architecture diagram is a confidential data and an intellectual property. So that understanding is where it all starts from. And with data classification comes data backup. Because if you do not have the backup of your confidential data, intellectual property data, which actually runs your business, then at any given day, some server is down and you will everything would be lost. So invest in some basic things like understanding the classification, doing the data backup, and you shall be good.
I think amazing insights. The last point which you have touched upon on the data backup, that is a crucial point these days. And before all the things like hiring a right talent and having the access control, because I would like to share things how it been shaped up for startup when we are looking into earlier when we were talking to anyone and we say that okay, there is a ransomware which can actually encrypt your data, and then we say okay, always have a data backup, right? And so if someone attack on your system, you just replace it with the data. But now the things have changed. So abhi hackers kya kar rahe hain? They will take your data, they say you also have your data, I also have your data, now pay me monthly subscription so that I will not release on internet.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So the data backup controls are very essential to save you from the ransomware, but access control will now save you before
Of the entry, yes.
you should not need to pay them what we call in Mumbai. So there we call one is someone kidnap your kid and you pay them ransom to get your kid back, and then you pay them protection money so that they should not kidnap them again, right? So
Yes.
now that is what is data. Data is your baby, right? So that, as you said, gold. I'd say data is your baby. It's like that.
Absolutely.
And from baby, I will say I have seen on your LinkedIn her mother, right?
Yes.
What is her mother all about? Tell me, how old is she, and what she do?
My daughter is 17.
17, okay.
She will be appearing for the CLAT exam, which is for the law entrance. She's preparing for that. And she has been the base of how my career journey has shaped up. Everything is around her. If the reason that I joined this company was around her, the reason that I was in my previous company was around her, to accommodate her routines and her interest and ensuring that she is growing up to be a mature and kind person and somebody who's independent. It's been really a good journey. The interesting thing is that when I had written that LinkedIn, when I had changed my profile and written her mother, it was like 2-3 years ago, I think.
Okay.
And I have seen how much kids support is required for working mothers, especially in cybersecurity, like cybersecurity and privacy. It in two ways. When she understands what I'm doing is important, because I keep talking to her about these issues. In her school there have been issues where somebody's photos have been leaked, some chats have been leaked, and some app has been created which is collecting their data. So at each point, she has helped me understand all generations. I have worked with people who are elder than me, people who are younger than me, and she is the next generation. How are they using data? How are they reacting to any new thing, any new technology? Is what keeps me updated. And I understood this when I started teaching her about how social media is used. And she started teaching me about how youngsters actually use social media. Because we all know that certain things are not to be done. Children were born with smartphones. I was not even born with a landline, right? There was no TV. There was just a radio when I was born back then in my house. There was nothing. So now they have access to ChatGPT. They have access to Instagram, Snapchat, Telegram. My daughter studies on, all the material comes on Telegram. Then I explain how it is different than the encryption that is in WhatsApp. So yes, young generation defines what you do in life after a certain time, because you're doing it for them.
Okay, and what's her name?
Her name is Anubhuti.
Anubhuti. Okay, and I hope she gonna watch this episode and tell me.
I hope so
when,
too.
when you give her risk gyan, she take it as a risk gyan, or she say, "Arey mama, ye kya hai? I don't care."
So the crucial age of 13 to 16 was very difficult
And you
because
have to
I
be true because
literally
she's gonna watch it.
No, no, it is okay. We are very she's my best friend.
Okay.
So and she understands and respects my work. I understand and respect her individuality and the new things that she is trying to explore. So it was very difficult. I actually had to put so with Google One subscription, you can have parental controls. I had to put screen time. I had to put app controls. I had blocked certain apps, especially during 10th and 12th. I did all of that, and now she respects that herself. I don't have any restrictions on her phone. She messaged me just today that I will see you after my next birthday on Instagram. Keep sending me reels, but I'm going to study
Okay.
for my exams. It just is 3 months. So just she just cuts off, and it comes from within. If a child understands what they need to do, then they will understand. 3 years it took me to give her gyan. She was like, "Mama, but sare bacche karte hain." Everyone, nobody's mother says anything. Why is there location tracker on my phone and all of that? But now she understands. She's seeing news. She's studying law. She understands the risks out there in every way, online and offline. And she could have taken this session also
Okay.
about cybersecurity in youngsters.
Great, Anubhuti. I think if you're watching it, I will like to talk to you soon. Okay. And have she ever came up with you saying that, okay, you are saying this, but ChatGPT says this?
No, she knows that ChatGPT can be wrong.
I think AI, specifically when we talk, so everyone knows there's a lot of risk with the AIs which we have, and it can actually do more harm than the good. Even recently, we have seen. The Sam, who the founder of OpenAI, said कि chat GPT chat is not secure. Even if you are chatting and you are sharing your, if you are making her as your therapist and asking for the advice, that chat, if goes public, can be even used by the legal thing. So, but the kids today, or even the startup founders, they are not aware of this. They build a lot of AI, a lot of chat GPT in the organization itself, and lot many people are actually using AI for different purposes. Like a founder like me, if we want to use AI in our product, and the company like you, which is built with the AI as a foundation, right? So what all risk which AI brings on the table, and what are the different compliances or governance which we need to have around AI, if that's been part of my ecosystem?
Excellent and very relevant question, because not only consumers are using ChatGPT kind of tools every day to make their lives easy, even simple things like therapy you mentioned, but every tool is coming up with AI powered features. It is important to understand that OpenAI, Azure OpenAI, Gemini, Perplexity, all of these are just third parties to either us or the companies or tools, right? First of all, we would want to understand the third party risk. It again, how the confidentiality is managed, how the integrity and security is managed, how the availability is managed, whether the tool is available to you when you need it or not, the data is there or not. Then we move on to certain things in the way these chat gpt and AI tools function. uh, you ask them a question, you give them a prompt, and they would respond with something. The first risk that I would say is that where is this AI getting its data from? How is it trained? If it is searching from the web, are the results accurate? Because I keep telling my daughter that Google is a research engine, not a search engine. You cannot rely on the results of even Google. You know, anybody could have written a blog about some cancer medicine and you would take it as a fact. That cannot be the basis of your decisions. Same goes with AI. If AI is telling you certain things, always cross verify whether and fact check whether that thing is from a reliable source or not. So, the accuracy of output on which your next action or decision is based has to be verified by a human. It is called human in the loop when we talk about ethical AI. The second thing is whether you are talking about the security of the data or the input that we are providing to AI, asking a question and all that. You understand that what do you want to keep secure? What is it that you want to keep secure? If you are asking it for a recipe of a cake, it is a different thing. But if you are saying that I'm planning a party at so and so location with so and so people, with everybody's LinkedIn handle, and say that these are vegetarians and these are non-vegetarians, and prepare a menu for me, you are actually providing PII data, location data, so many things. In an organization, if somebody says that here is my new audit report, summarize this. That audit report may have evidence that is pertaining to your business,
Exactly.
data that is pertaining to your business. So, ChatGPT may not be secure like any other third party tool. If it is following the security aspect, then it is secure in transit and at rest the data is secure. Who is accessing it manages the confidentiality also. What is the biggest risk right now is how is ChatGPT being trained? It is a global risk, because if you are providing ChatGPT or GenAI data to train on from certain sections of a society, say only India, then any decision that it is making would be in context of India only. The moment an Indian hiring company says that here are all the global candidates requests, the CVs, screen it for me. It will screen as per India only and may reject candidates from other regions. So that bias is there. That is the second concept in AI risk. So you have to see that AI is not biased. That's why there is diversity that is needed when you're training an AI tool. So training data set is another thing. We cannot, confidential data cannot go into OpenAI, and it cannot also train it because it is our data, our companies or our persons, our data. You cannot do that. Then there is transparency. Does that AI tool tell you how your data is being used and where it is getting the results from? If there is this transparency that a human is not looking at it and you are not relying on a human judgment but artificial intelligence, it needs to be called out. It needs to justify that why does it need that kind of data, what is it doing, what is the privacy policy. All of that needs to be, like ChatGPT also says that ChatGPT may make mistakes. That is fine prints, like investment and insurance, that you need to focus on.
Exactly.
There are various other concepts of AI, ethical AI risk also. But what I have found particularly interesting and helpful is NIST AI risk management framework. It is very elaborate. The good thing about GRC privacy is that the resources are very easily available if you know where to look out for. You have to have the zeal to understand that and how to fix that in the context of your organization or your life.
Fair enough.
So ask questions.
Yeah, and I think the point you mentioned that ChatGPT is not secure and the information can go out. Even the last week itself, there's a news where so many conversation or chats been leaked out. So what I will do for my audience, you can see on the top, I will link that particular incident and the case study for you to have a study on that. And last you ended it with the data, right? So AI, lot of data is going out there, and people generally push their confidential data by mistake, and sometimes even the private data or the data which have
Yes.
PII, that's maybe of their own organization, or sometimes for the customers as well. And as a startup, sometimes we don't realize that it's a mistake. So now I will like to understand from you that because you started with GDPR related compliance, we have privacy policies which are coming from California, China, and now India has come up with the DPDP Act as well. If I did a mistake and for my customer data, which is PII, I have put it on the Chat GPT, let's say, and now it's been leaked. What all can happen to me?
There could be penalties. Depends upon the data is of customers from which region. Like EU has its EU AI Act. EU has GDPR also. So there is PII plus EU AI Act. India has DPDP. You cannot really use data in whatever manner. It is for digital data only. GDPR is for general data.
Yeah.
So how the data is being used of any individual is very critical. You can get hefty penalties. There would be definitely loss of reputation. People would not trust you anymore. And in today's world where awareness is so high, this news cannot be curbed. If you have leaked your customers' data, I doubt that trust can be built again. In at least even 5-6 years, it takes people to build trust.
Yeah.
You have failed many things.
Yeah, exactly. And the news this time, flies with the more than the speed of a light,
Yes,
right? So
absolutely.
that is there. So you can't just make a mistake, blender, and then rush away. And that is what people are even seeing. So earlier there was a time that people say, okay, let's go ahead, do something. If something or there is a vulnerability, we'll fix it later. But that's not there. As you go on the internet, hackers are been there, and they will immediately try to bring your
Yes,
site down, try
yes,
to get data out of this. Though all SaaS founders actually need to look into this. So,
definitely.
if because I don't have a time for all regulation compliance to study them and look into, but as a founder, I want to see if I'm good or not. So, if I ask that what all reports and stats or kind of scoring if I need to look into, what should it be?
Okay. So we need to have some security scorecard. Usually, companies have a trust center where they upload all the reports, and according to that, there is a trust score and security score that is given. If you have a cloud service provider, there would be security score on AWS or Azure. So those scores can be created into CXO worthy dashboard. All picking data from all aspects of your third party, and then create a report which CXO can consume. First would be, I would say, is the legal and regulatory risk. If you are collecting personal data, you need to know which region of the world you are collecting that data from. What is the legislation or regulation or law of that location?
Okay.
If you are collecting data from US, like you earlier mentioned, CCPA, if you are collecting data from China, if you are collecting data from Russia, there are separate laws. You need to know about the sanctions, where all you can transfer the data, where all you can take the data from, right? So if there is a cross-border data policy or law, and if it prohibits that it cannot go outside of India or EU, you need to look at that. So legal, regulatory, security, because I would put privacy into regulatory only.
Okay.
With GDPR and DPDP, everything is now a part of law only. So you have to prepare a report keeping all of this in mind. Your data has to be encrypted, so security takes care of that. These 3-4 things I would like to focus on, and the security metric can be anything. The incidents, your RTO and RPO. How soon can you just recover data from the backup? There are now incremental data backups that are happening. So all these are checks that we do, and we prepare a dashboard for our CEO saying that if you have to go to an investor or a customer and show what is the security posture and infosec posture of the company, here are the numbers. 5 things again: legal, regulation, security, cloud security, all of that can go on your trust center and people can access it.
Amazing.
That's the easiest way to share.
Awesome. I think great conversation. So my audience, I will like you to talk directly to them. So always we say earlier that security need to be part of your SDLC life cycle. That's a requirement gathering. And same way now risk, privacy and everything, you need to start at the inception. So now let's say founder or a new age founder looking at you at this point of time, what kind of advice you will like to give him and tell him that if he is going to start his startup, ensure before he start building, these are the things you should take care of. So my audience is all yours now.
So, all the new founders and curious people who want to start or provide new services, I would say that let your compliance person observe your business strategy. If you give them a space in your meetings and see what your roadmap is, how you want to go ahead with it, they would understand it. Do not exclude compliance from your roadmap or your business plans. They need to know everything. They need to know every region you want to expand to, every new feature you want to add, every new decision that you want to take. All of this needs to be taken into consideration, and the compliance and governance person needs to be on the inside of all the action. They cannot do anything if they are not aware. It's also on them, but let them in. They would figure it out. And you got this.
Wonderful. And with that, we have come to the last segment of this show, which is called the Goodie Bag. And
Oh,
thank you for being on the GB show and giving us so much wonderful
thank you so
insights.
much.
Thank you, everyone,
Thank
for
you.
watching this episode. And I have many more lined up for you. I'll see you next week, same time. Till then, take care, be safe. Bye.